Welcome back to the International Arbitrage. Filming today for a while from the beach. Um, the old proverbial, we're on the beach near the Fairmont Hotel, Barbados today. Under an umbrella, blue skies, not many people around for a Saturday. Very cool, very chill. Typical Barbados. But because of the internet, we don't have to stop hustling, and we're still connected, and I am still connected to my community and my people. So the international arbitrage continues. And so today we're going to continue on. We talked a little bit about the last video for a Brazilian oil and gas field, raising $30 million and trying to do this by raising that money from high net worth international investors. And so what we're trying to do in these videos is outline a number of practical things that owner managers, we're not talking about large, massive companies with hundreds and thousands of employees. We're talking about small owner managed businesses, right? And so practical things that owner managers can do to be able to raise money to make their projects work. And so we talked about having a regulated private investment fund and the need for that because of the perception of risk that U.S. investors and their trustees have of international investments that are not being done by large multinationals. They perceive a lot of compliance risk and the potential for fraud. So one way you get around this is by setting up international private investment fund. And so to have a regulated international private investment fund, you would have a fund manager. And the fund manager of the fund you can do it in one of two ways. You can set up your own. This is cost and time intensive to some extent because you will have to hire or you will have to spend time making an application to the regulator, doing all the documents. But it is possible. You can do a lot of that yourself. But then you'll need, depending on which jurisdiction you do it in, a couple $100,000 insurance and some other resources to be able to secure the license to be a regulated fund manager. Alternatively, the owner manager who is raising capital using international private investment fund, what you can do is you can set up your you can draft your offer management, your offer memorandum, and then what you can do is in it, because you'll have a schematic diagram of your tax structure. You can use an existing fund manager. You can hire an existing fund manager. Once you've registered your securities and everything with the SEC, and you've got your registration complete, and you are doing promotion and business development work, what you can actually do is just, you don't have to pay the fund manager up front. You can just, obviously talk to them and agree that they would represent your fund and would be prepared to sign a service provider agreement with your fund if you successfully get raise investment capital. And then the minimum fee for getting a fund manager for an alternative investment fund is about $25,000 minimum for the year. And then as the amount of capital that you raise goes up, you pay more. There's a fee scale. Most fund managers are different. This can be negotiated. But if you're raising $30 million, it shouldn't get that expensive. So that's one way that you don't have to incur the upfront costs of a fund manager when you're telling your U.S. investors that you have or are setting up an international private investment fund that will be regulated. You'll be working with a U.S. securities lawyer, And so depending on the type of investment that you have and who you're talking to, you will have things set up nicely. And now I have to go and see about some children who are just going out a little bit too far in the water. A little bit too far. Let's call them back in. Cheers.